Welcome to another edition of the CDG BizCast. I'm your host, Christian Gonzalez, co-owner of Creativity Design Group, a digital marketing firm in Houston, Texas. Today we will be discussing the extreme importance of ensuring that your company is bringing its A game when it comes to customer service. How well you treat your customers, acknowledge their needs, and tend to any issues that they may have can have a huge impact on your business and its bottom line. In simplest terms, businesses with great customer service see more sales from both current customers and referrals they send. Joining me today once again is Draven, also known as Optopolis on YouTube. Small or large businesses both need to understand that the most important aspect of running a business is providing stellar customer service. The better your customer service is, the better it is for your business. You can expect to see your customers happy. They'll refer your company to other people. They'll tell their friends about it, especially if they're on social media. It'll help you retain your current customers. And in the end, it'll just drive more sales, and you'll see a better bottom line at the end of the year. It's important to understand that without good customer service, you cannot expect your business to stay in business, you could say. So we're going to talk about a couple of different benefits related to offering good customer service, and you're going to want to pay close attention and take some good notes on this episode because it'll help you develop a better customer service strategy overall for your company. The first benefit I want to discuss is customer retention. If you offer good customer service every single time, your current customer base is going to continue to do business with you. It helps increase your revenue because they're not going to a competitor. It's also cheaper because you already have a customer on board and you don't have to worry about the costs related to trying to gain a new customer. You'll save more money overall keeping a current customer versus trying to gain a new one. Trying to gain a new one will cost you a lot of time and money. If you have a very strong customer base that's loyal to you simply because you were able to exceed their expectations the first time, you pretty much have a customer for life. 89% of customers are more likely to complete an additional purchase with your company based on having a good customer service experience. They're going to keep coming back for more and more every time. And that's just common sense in general. Conversely, if you're rude to a customer, what are the chances that they're going to come back, right? So, Draven, thank you for joining me on the show once again. What businesses do you continue to patronize frequently simply because you had a good customer service experience? It could be a store, could be a restaurant, any type of business in general. The customer service was so good that you continue to return to them.
There's definitely quite a few businesses that I go to rarely frequently and that I do still go to today just because of something about the service was overall probably decent. I suppose would be the right word. So there's actually a local place here, a food truck that I started visiting last year. For example, having good food in first place. If a mistake is made, they do everything they can to make it right, which hasn't really been a significant mistake in all the times I've visited. I probably visited this one more than a single fast food recently. So I definitely think that it's important to be trying to do what's right for the customer as best as possible, as best way you know how, if you really want your customers to come back.
Yes, I agree. Like I said a few minutes ago, when you treat your customers like royalty and you get things right the first time, they're going to keep coming back over and over again. They're not going to go anywhere else. If you're rude to your customers or you just simply drop the ball on delivering in a timely manner, they're not going to come back. They're going to leave you a 1-star review and go somewhere else. My example would be the FedEx office location that I patronize for my printing needs. It's not close to where I live, but I still go to it anyway because I get the best customer service there. There's one employee who works there. Her name is Erin, and she always gets all my printing needs taken care of, and they always come out right the first time. She always knows what to do when something's going wrong. There was this instance where I'd send in a business card order and they did not come out printed correctly. They had these white borders on them that weren't supposed to be there. The manager of that location went the extra mile to have them reprinted so that they came out correctly. And I don't get that at other places. That's probably the only FedEx office location that I went to where they truly showed that they cared about the customer. I've been to many other locations where they were just too busy to serve a customer. So that's why I continue to give this one particular location that is pretty far from my house repeat business, simply because I know they care about the customer. Now, I'm not saying that all their locations lack good customer service skills, but many of the ones near me certainly do. So that's why I continue to go there. It just shows that when you truly show that you care about your customers, your current customer base is pretty much going to be your customer for life. They're not going to go anywhere else. They're going to love the experience so much that they're going to continue to give you business. And that should also give you some reassurance that you don't have to worry about losing out on revenue from lost customers anytime soon. In terms of loyalty, it's important to make sure that you tell your customers thank you in some way. Large companies offer loyalty programs as a way to say thank you to their repeat customers, and this is especially common in the restaurant business. Customer loyalty is one of the most important aspects of customer service because it shows that they really care about you. If you can say thank you to your customers by giving them a freebie or a discount here and there, it'll encourage them to continue to come back. That's why companies such as CVS, Domino's, and Pizza Hut, for example, all use loyalty programs. When you make enough purchases at these chains, they give you something free or they give you a coupon for your next visit. It's important to say thank you whenever you can. If you have customers who patronize you frequently, do something like this. So, Draven, are you a member of any loyalty programs for any chains in your area?
I can't say there's one where I'm like literally signed up to something, but like I can attest to what you were getting at with like freebies and stuff like that. So there's a chain sandwich shop out in Fort Collins, Schlotsky's out in this one, that where they'd often give customers a card that once you got the whole card punched out, which was like 10 sandwiches, I believe it was, 20, something like that, you get a free sandwich. Another one too is Ziggy's here in Cheyenne, the Ziggy's out on Yellowstone. When I went there the first time, they gave me a card that kind of same idea. You eventually will be able to get a freebie out of that after a certain amount of purchases. Even the Church's Chicken, unfortunately, it's closed now because of whatever the reason. But when they were open, they were, at least at the start, they were giving random customers a card that would basically give them a free meal once a month each month, which consisted of a thigh, a leg, and I think a drink. If I remember right, it's been a minute, so I apologize if I'm wrong on that. But I know it's a thigh and a leg for sure. And you would be able to get a freebie once a month for the rest of the year. Obviously, unfortunately, in this instance, it didn't go that way. And I think it was other circumstances besides that. But like them doing that still made me want to keep going back to their restaurant, even though, stuff ended up happening. It's like I'd still go back, but can't go back now because of whatever happened.
That's a great example of a loyalty program that's effective. In fact, I assisted one of my clients, Stone Cold Meats out in League City, back in 2018 with starting their loyalty program. They did pretty much the exact same thing that Your Church's Chicken did. I designed them a loyalty card that could be stamped, and then they would get a free product after the customer got their whole card stamped out. I would encourage small business owners to continue partaking of such a system. An example of a digital loyalty program would be Domino's. Domino's has a great loyalty program where you can get a free pizza after you hit 60 points. You get 10 points for each online order that you make. So once you make 6 online orders, you can redeem them for a free pizza. I've probably redeemed my points for several free pizzas over the past 8 years or so. It's a great way to retain customers. The importance of a loyalty program is not just to get repeat business, but it's to show your customers that you truly, deeply appreciate the fact that you are giving them repeat business and haven't gone anywhere else. It's great to say thank you to your customer base. Let them know that you truly do appreciate it. Another way you can say thank you to your wonderful customer base is to encourage referrals. What I mean by that is offer some sort of commission, coupon, or even free gift just because your customers sent you some more business. They told their friends about how wonderful your company is, and then those referrals came back to you and converted to a successful sale. Referrals are an extremely powerful way to get customers because your customers are doing the marketing for your business. They're hyping your company up. They're telling their friends how great your products and services are, and they're also raving about why they should do business with you over somebody else. A referral is the number one biggest compliment that any customer can give your business. If you can develop a great referral program, you can expect to see more sales increase. This is another way that you can tell your customer base thank you for the repeat business and also thank you for having them send you business. A good referral that converts to a sale is one that has a potential to become another repeat customer for you. So, Draven, have you ever been referred to a certain business by a friend because of how great the customer service was? Or have you ever referred your friend to certain businesses because of great customer service and great products, great services, things along those lines? Please share with me some examples of such events.
I actually have a really good example that just happened recently where it wasn't even a friend, it was just kind of happy coincidence. So I was actually recently out taking photos of various places, one of them including a new building that's being built here in my own city of Cheyenne, Wyoming. And after I took photos of the place, I ended up having a little bit of an interesting and somewhat unexpected conversation with one of the workers on scene that I assume is probably the main guy running the show, so to speak. And ultimately it came down to that he was looking for drone services. Unfortunately, I can't do that. I don't have all the licensing and all that. But there's actually someone else locally that I've stumbled across probably 3 years ago at this point that does do drone services. He's actually a licensed FFA pilot for doing drone operations commercially. So I ended up referring to that person in that conversation. And of course, I ended up trying to follow up in one of the local group things. So that way it would hopefully be a little easier for the construction worker to find it. Although I can't confirm he is in there. Hopefully it was. But either way. I still did that because I figured it would make it a little bit easier for him.
Yes, that's a great example of how a referral can be powerful. Word of mouth has always been a great way to get sales. In fact, over here at CDG, a good chunk of our customer base came from word of mouth referrals. Good customer service in general is what encourages word of mouth referrals. If you've done that great of a job, then all your friends and family are going to be telling their friends and family about it, and it turns into a domino effect. Then those referrals will start generating even more referrals for you on their end. You end up creating...
For sure. And I suppose I could even reflect on it from my own space on the YouTube stuff. Because, I mean, I'll do an article or something like that, and oftentimes people will end up sharing that with other people in the community without me even having to ask them. They'll just do it because it provided them information that was helpful to them, or maybe it provided a certain amount of entertainment or other value in general that they found just really beneficial to them.
That's one of the best things about the powers of social media. You don't even have to ask people to share it. If they like it that much, they're going to start telling all their friends and family about it. They'll hit the share button. They'll share it on Facebook, on Twitter, whichever platforms they're on, and they'll just start telling the world about it, and you don't even have to ask because the buttons alone are a given. They see it and they feel compelled to share it. It's especially powerful in the business world when you're selling a product and it was so great that the customers are sharing it on all their social profiles. They may even be taking it a step further. Maybe they're going on YouTube to do a video review and demonstration about it. Social media can be very, very powerful. Social media alone can boost sales for really any business, especially if the customer takes a product viral. Recent examples include the Grimace Shake from McDonald's, and then if we go back about 4 years ago, you may remember the chicken sandwich craze involved with Popeyes.
Oh yeah, and the chicken sandwich thing still kind of goes on to this day. I think Taco Bell supposedly recently did something to revamp their chicken taco. I personally never tried it, and I haven't tried it at this point, so I can't say for certain, but whether it's good or not. But there is definitely that whole craze with everyone being obsessed with trying to get their own version of a chicken sandwich out there. I mean, even though the Taco John's, the taco joint that's based out of Cheyenne, even they have their own version of a chicken taco.
They're all trying to compete with each other because they're all in the same line of business. And speaking of Taco Bell, another example of how a viral social media campaign can increase more sales would be the Beefy Crunch movement. The Beefy Crunch movement is a Facebook group that is dedicated to the Beefy Crunch burrito, which is a sporadic menu item that has appeared off and on their menu ever since it was introduced in 2010. The people behind this group and all of its members are basically fanatics of this one particular burrito that Taco Bell has, and they are getting ready to bring it back in August as a result of Taco Bell's own social media campaign, where they were allowing people to vote on which retired menu item to bring back. It was the Beefy Crunch burrito versus the Cool Ranch Doritos taco. The Facebook group that I just mentioned, the Beefy Crunch movement, wasted no time in casting their votes for the Beefy Crunch burrito. Needless to say, it was the menu item that was chosen to make its return in August, which is just around the corner from the time of this taping. So, as you can see, the power of social media should not be underestimated. It can have a lasting effect on your business, either positively or negatively, depending on what's going on.
There is another kind of viral trend in a way, in a matter of speaking. If you've been paying a good amount of attention to the Taco Tuesday stuff, you may have noticed that Taco Bell was actually pushing to have Taco John's release its trademark on the name, which it held in, I believe it was about 49 states. I think it was 49. But there was one state where another restaurant apparently held the trademark before. But ultimately, for the other 49 states, Taco John's CEO, Jim Creel, actually specifically said that he doesn't want to waste the time and money and resources on something like that, trying to keep it up if it's really that big of a thing. So ultimately, they decided to drop it and let it be out of their hands for being owned as a trademark. And maybe that's a pretty reasonable choice, considering that a lot of people do use the phrase Taco Tuesday in a lot of circumstances besides just Taco John's, as much as maybe one may not want to admit it, so to speak, especially if you're a fan of Taco John's. A lot of people just do use it in general. It's kind of the same way with Kleenex, where just about any tissue paper they use for your nose is going to be called Kleenex.
I've actually heard about that. I actually didn't know until now that Taco John's even owned the trademark to the words Taco Tuesday, but it is very common, so they're willing to let it become public domain. And going back to this campaign, it shows that Taco Bell, despite being a fast food restaurant, does show that they care about their customer in terms of their product offerings, and the fact that they want to be able to use this Taco Tuesday trademark in their own marketing shows that they want to be able to serve their customer base better by having more offerings specifically related to Taco Tuesday. What those offerings will be, I'm not sure, but it could be maybe a discount on certain menu items like the tacos. And of course, when it comes to offering discounted items for specific days and events like that, you don't want to take a loss on your profit simply because you're giving them a break. That is when you take the opportunity to upsell other products on your menu. When you offer good customer service and your customer base truly loves your company, they'll be willing to spend more money at your company on additional products and services. What Taco Bell should consider doing is they should offer maybe 50-cent tacos on Taco Tuesday, similar to how all of the chicken restaurants offer some sort of two-piece deal on Tuesday. You know, many of the fried chicken places such as Popeyes and KFC, they do this. This could be Taco Bell's opportunity to do the same thing, but with Taco Tuesday, you could say. Offer great customer service. Offer a discounted product, but upsell some other products to go with your tacos, such as soft drinks, maybe other large items on the menu that could pair well with a taco, or maybe even for the dessert items. For example, they have the Cinna Twist.
We've always prided ourselves on being the home of Taco Tuesday, but paying millions of dollars to lawyers to defend our mark to defend our mark just doesn't feel like the right thing to do, Taco John's CEO Jim Krill said, according to NPR.
With Taco John's releasing the Taco Tuesday trademark into public domain, this will certainly give Taco Bell and other similar taco restaurants the advantage to start using it so they can start competing better as well. What they can do is they can either offer their regular tacos at a discounted price, or they can offer them at full menu price, and as part of the Taco Tuesday special, throw in a freebie, such as a free drink, free dessert, free side order. There's a lot of items on Taco Bell's menu that I feel could pair up well to make a Taco Tuesday special. Why not throw in a bean burrito? Why not throw in the Cinna Twist for dessert? Or even a small fountain drink. Those are great ways to show the customers that you care. And then, of course, to make up for any discounts or freebies that you're offering, this gives them the opportunity to upsell products as well. Other examples of upselling would include when you're placing an order online for Domino's. Right as you're about to check out, they will ask you if you want to add buffalo wings or one of their chocolate lava cakes or a large soda to your order right as you're about to check out. And then we see this all the time in retail. When we go to stores and we get in line to check out all of our purchases, what is the first thing we see as we're waiting in line? We see racks full of impulse buys. You know, these are your candy bars, your chips, those little magazines they have, little items like pens and cigarette lighters, things like that, convenience items. Draven, how many times have you ever partaken in products that were upsold to you, either when you were buying something online, while you were waiting in line, or just when the store employees made a recommendation to you?
There have definitely been instances where I've grabbed off of that rack that you just described. I literally was thinking of it before you even said it. I was literally thinking of it before you even said it, where, yeah, if there's something there that I want, will sometimes grab it. And there's other times, too, where that might be the first place I go just because I need the convenient size, if nothing else. So, for example, if I'm on a bike ride, for instance, it might be nice to have a small pack of nuts. Right, so I'll go get a small pack of nuts from the small rack next to checkouts or whatever, wherever it ends up being, which is still one of those things where it's a little more upsold, where it is going to be a little more profit margin in theory, since it's selling each individual package instead of doing a whole bunch at once.
Right, and in the retail world, that's what retailers want to see. They want to see more units of those items sold so they can increase their profit margin. That's why they're called impulse buys. It is a form of upselling. Maybe you weren't thinking about buying those products when you came in, but as you were waiting in line, you saw it right there on the rack and you just decided to grab it because it's either something that you wanted or you might need later. And that's especially true with candy bars. Candy and snacks make up the majority of the impulse buy sections at any register. You see more of that than anything else. Why? A lot of people, especially little kids, like sweets. And you also see coolers with sodas in them. That's also an impulse buy because maybe you didn't realize you were thirsty until you saw those Coke bottles in the fridge right there by the counter. And same thing with candy. Maybe you didn't realize you wanted a candy bar until you saw the Hershey bar sitting there on the rack. Marketing and psychology go hand in hand. When it comes to services, many service providers will attempt to upsell you on additional services that you probably didn't realize that you needed. Now, I can give you an example for myself. With CDG. Every now and then we get a client who needs a logo design. We will bring up the fact that we offer website design services and business cards too, because the majority of the time the people who call in for a logo do not know that we offer those services, and they are startup businesses who need those services, but they didn't realize that they could get all of it from CDG. Maybe they only saw one portion of our website where we mentioned the logo design, and that's okay. When we're looking for a specific service, we don't browse the entire website looking for other services that we don't need. But I do like to bring it up for their benefit to let them know that we do offer additional marketing services for their business. If they're a startup business, the owners start to realize that they need these services. On top of that, they also realize that they can benefit from CDG by getting all of their services in a bundle because we offer package deals. They don't have to spend more money on individual services, which can be very costly. And on top of that, it all stays centralized under one roof. They don't have to go to one company to get the website and another one to get their logo. We take care of it for them all at once at one price that business owners can afford. Upselling is more effective with customers who are satisfied with what you've had to offer to them previously. When you can demonstrate good customer service, they are going to be more inclined to spend their money at your business versus a competing business. Speaking of being competitive, when you offer good customer service, that alone helps you become more competitive. What if the company down the street from you is offering extremely poor customer service? They're not delivering on time, they're rude, they're not offering the products and services that your customer base is seeking. So what do? You step in and you make up for that. You deliver on time, you're friendly, you're accommodating, you're showing that you care. It helps you stay competitive. It's important to research what your competitors are doing. Look at their websites. Are their websites customer centric? Do they address your customers' pain points immediately, or do you have to dig through the website to try to find what it is that they specifically do and how they can help you solve the problem as a customer? Offering good customer service separates you from everybody else. If you're able to deliver on time versus your competitor who's always late or maybe never even delivered the product or service at all, and now their customer base is trying to fight them to get their money back, what do you do as a small business owner who is competing? You now have the ability to demonstrate either with 5-star reviews or videos on your website and YouTube channel showing happy customers that you are there to take care of them and that you deliver your services on time. Using your existing customer base, you have the opportunity to demonstrate to the world, especially to your immediate customer base, that you can solve their pain points and you have the social proof to back that up.
I do think there's something that needs to be said about, you want to avoid doing paid reviews, because a lot of times, I shouldn't say a lot of times, but there's definitely times where a business will pay for a bunch of reviews that are positive, but in turn, then when customers see that and then they try to get something and they realize that you're actually not as good as you're claiming, I feel like it definitely comes across a little more negatively than it would have if it were just legit people and maybe something happened along the lines. I think it's definitely important to really emphasize on having actual legit reviews that aren't being paid. They're like being more upfront and being totally truthful overall in general. And if you can have higher ratings just because of having a lot of customers that enjoy and like your service or whatever it is, I definitely feel like that can be a lot more helpful to your potential customer base than the other way around.
Yes, I agree. I am 100% against paid reviews because, like you said, a lot of them might not be legitimate. And you know what's even worse than paid reviews? When you have your own employees write the reviews for your business. That alone is even worse than the paid reviews because those are outright untrue. I've seen it happen with a few businesses in the past where they got a lot of 1-star reviews because they offered poor customer service, rude customer service agents, products weren't delivered on time, the product that they got was not the product that they ordered. I've seen it all 1-star legitimate reviews from customers who were displeased, and then to counter them, several 5-star reviews from employees who were just trying to make the company look good. I've seen that happen before. It's extremely unethical and it should not be done. Now, in fact, I worked for a company a long time ago that did this, and I found out that while I was working there, that Yelp had to remove their business because they discovered that the employees in the marketing department were leaving 5-star reviews to counter all the real 1-star reviews. I worked in a completely different department that had nothing to do with the marketing, but I heard about this from my coworkers, and thankfully I was able to get out of there and distance myself from them because I did not want to be affiliated with a company that was lying to customers and not delivering on time. Being that was before I started CDG, that's when I learned that I need to do whatever I can to make my customers happy. I would never partake in the shady practices that my old employer used to partake in. I thought it was just downright despicable and crazy that they would even have to recruit employees to make fake 5-star reviews just to counter all the legitimate 1-star reviews that came from actual displeased customers. It really shows that when you offer poor customer service, it can leave a lasting impression on your business because they will go online and let their feelings be known, and other people will see that. Just like when you offer great customer service that results in all of your customers telling the world about how wonderful you are, they can also do the same thing for bad customer service, and that can hurt your overall sales. And what happens when your sales numbers numbers start going flat, you go out of business because now you're not making a profit. You're not able to pay your vendors, your employees. You're not able to take care of other necessary operating expenses involved in running a business. If you are not offering great customer service, in the end, it could lead to your company's downfall. Remember everything that I said in this episode. As a business owner, remember to be proactive, collect positive feedback for all of your customers who had a great experience, and of course provide training to your team on how to offer good customer service. If a customer is unhappy, work with them until they are happy. Before you even provide a refund, ask your customer if they're willing to work with you to get the problem corrected first. Don't just be another company who wants to take a customer's money and then run with it. If they're displeased, work with them to get the problem corrected. Don't just keep putting it off, especially if they've contacted you many times trying to get the problem corrected and you're not being responsive, or you're just going to tell them that you're going to take care of it but never actually do. You are showing extremely poor customer service skills. Work with your customer. Hear them out. Whenever they are having a problem, work with them until it is corrected. If you cannot correct the problem to their satisfaction and it does warrant a refund, then that's probably what it's going to take to truly provide good customer service towards them. In the end, when it comes to customers who experience problems with your company, always be proactive. Do something to solve their problem. Don't just keep making excuses over why their problems were not solved. Be solution based. Show them that you're willing to work with them until the problem is correct. If a refund is what it takes, then a refund is what you give them. If you're able to offer a substitute product or service, or give them something on the house later on, do that. Don't just try to run away from the problems by making excuses. Show your customer that you care about getting them taken care of. I also encourage asking for feedback as well, so that way you can learn where you can improve your customer service in general. Offer surveys to your customer. Learn where you can improve, so that way when you deal with your next customer, you won't be doing the same problems that you did with your previous customer. Nobody's perfect, but that doesn't mean we can't learn about what our imperfections are and try to improve upon them. If you have a team who specializes in handling customer service on behalf of your company, provide them training. Train them on the best practices for taking care of customers who are having problems. And again, that involves being solution-based. Do not run away from the problem. Never make excuses or make false promises to your customers who are having problems. If you've already told them once that you're going to take care of the problem, take care of the problem. If they call again and that problem has not been taken care of, then you are showing that you do not care about your customer and overall demonstrating poor customer service skills. So, Draven, as we close out the show, I wanted to ask you, have you ever had a bad experience somewhere where you ended up getting good customer service in the end? Your experience with the product or service was poor from the response from the customer service team of the company that provided the product or service took care of you, and there were no problems later. They just got you taken care of. They offered a solution. Have you ever been through something like that?
Yeah, I actually got a couple of pretty good examples of that just happened recently. So there's one time recently where we actually went to Wendy's, and we will often get Frosties when we go to a Wendy's. And unfortunately, at the time that we went, the Frosty machine was out of stuff. So they went to go get more and put it in, but it was pretty clear that it was going to take a while. If you've ever seen a channel like Dylan LeMay on YouTube, you know you can pretty much figure out for yourself how long it will take for the ice cream machines to get going and everything. So ultimately, we decided that, you know what, we'll go get ice cream somewhere else. We got our meals, so that was all good and dandy, but they refunded us for the Frosties, and that was that. And it's like, well, that's all right. I'll probably go back at that point. It's not a big deal. It's just the way things worked out. The other example I have too is actually ironically with my bike. I took my bike into a bike shop here in town, which bike shop I've been going there since a kid, and I think it's mainly because that's where I've just always gone. But there was something with the gear where it, for some reason, didn't quite want to shift over to the right gear ring. You'd shift and it wouldn't shift over to the right gear. So one of the people in there, the workers in there, ended up taking it for a spin, seeing what was the deal, and it ultimately came down just some that needed to be tightened. One of the screws, I don't know if screws is the right word, but one of them needed to be tightened down a little bit, and that was problem solved. And it was problem solved at that point. And they made sure that it was working all good and dandy for me.
Those are great examples that showed that they cared about the customer. Showing that you're willing to fix the problem instead of run away from it demonstrates A-plus customer service skills. I've seen too many places where they'll just keep telling you over and over again, we'll get it taken care of, we'll get it taken care of, after the customer has called in numerous times. Those businesses are the ones that I shy away from. In fact, I've had a few clients come to CDG because their own website design company pretty much took their money and ran. They did not deliver what was promised to them. So as a result, they came to my company to get their website needs taken care of. Now, on a personal level, I can show you a good example of customer service being demonstrated well too. So last year, I remember going to the KFC in my neighborhood and ordered a pot pie. When I got home, the pot pie was old, it looked burnt, and it was rubbery and not even edible. You couldn't even chew it. I was appalled that they would even take something like this and serve it to a customer. I called their customer service immediately, and I was not seeking any freebies. I got reimbursed for the pot pie by the customer service agent. Had a refund issued out. The agent herself did not reimburse me personally out of her own pocket. Of course, it came from the company. And they mailed a coupon in for a free meal. Now, I was not expecting this. I wasn't even asking for this. I was not seeking freebies. The fact that they showed that they really cared about a paying customer that much really did put an impression on me. So of course I gave them repeat business later. Another example I have would be where CDG had to step in and correct a problem with a client. I had a client who ordered business cards and they needed them for an event. I went ahead, I designed the business card, I sent it to our vendor who's in charge of printing to get it taken care of, and then they called me a week that they were supposed to arrive, telling me that the cards did not arrive. So I went in and did an investigation. I found out that the mail carrier delivered the cards somewhere else. And not only that, but somebody else signed off for them, which was strange. I don't know why a complete stranger at a different address, for someone who wasn't even affiliated with that business, even signed off for their cards. Why would they want business cards for a business that they had no connection to? So as a result, I paid out of my own pocket for some new cards, got some cards done at another vendor. I picked them up myself personally and then drove them to the client on my own time with my own gas to get them to them because I wanted to make sure that they had some business cards for their event. I was not going to leave them hanging like that with no cards. I knew how important this was to them, so I went ahead and took some time out of my day, used my own gas, and spent some of my own money to deliver those cards to them because I really cared about them as a client. They were a great client, and I wanted to make sure that they were ready. That's the importance of delivering good customer service. You need to be reactive at all times. Never run away from the problem. Always have a solution ready when a problem arises.
Yeah, and I think that another important part to that is making sure that you actually stick to what you said. I have had experiences, at least one that I can think of off the top of my head, where they messed up an order or something like that. And we're talking food in this case. They messed up an order, and we called them, and they said that they'd be able to give us a discount next time we came in. But next time we came in, when we asked about the discount, they said they can't do that. So I think it's important to make sure that if you're going to do that, follow through. And of course, if you do, then that's going to make the experience that much better.
One way I would avoid that problem as a business owner would be if you're going to promise your customers some offer like that, put it in writing. Make a coupon, email it to the customer that you promised it to, or just simply print it out and give it to them while they're in the store. It doesn't take long to pull up Microsoft Word and type out a coupon. That's how I would have avoided that problem. Put it in writing to keep it official.
I can actually chime into that and say that there was actually an instance, different bicycle shop outside of my town, where something ended up happening with the bike that I ended up getting, where the tire popped. So when I returned it, they actually ended up writing out a little coupon thing on a card that I still have to this day, that if and when I'm able to go back, I can, of course, use that as the coupon.
That's how that restaurant that you mentioned should have handled it. They should have put it in writing so that way it would have solidified it. If you're going to make any offers like that to your customers, put it in something that is tangible, something that is written and tangible, so that way you can't go back on your word later. It's all about keeping your word. When it comes to providing good customer service, that of course means keeping your word at all times. Never go back on anything that you offer to your customers. Always be solution-based and always be ready to expect the unexpected. Never disappoint your customers. Always be ready to take on any problems that come your way. That's how you get a 5-star experience. If you are exceeding customer expectations by delivering on time, going above and beyond what they wanted, that also warrants a 5-star experience. If you want to destroy your company and offer 1-star experiences instead, be rude to your customers, ignore their pain points, ignore them when they have a problem, go back on your word every time, and simply tune them out every time they need something from you. That's how you get a 1-star experience. Don't aim to be a 1-star company. So those are my final words on the subject. I'm going to go ahead and close out now. Draven, thank you once again for coming on the show. You've provided some great answers to all of my questions from the consumer perspective, and I hope that all the small business owners out there will learn from everything that we've talked about today. You've provided some great insight, some great examples.
Yeah, thanks again for having me.